Hey, good morning. This is my fifth, I think it is. Count on my fingers real quick. I got 5 fingers, so it makes it easy to figure out. But yeah, this is my fifth throwback video of 2023. I guess I'm on a roll. If you want to see last week's and you missed it, and you want to learn how I got a bruise from my knees, both knees, all the way up to my belly button, kind of radiated out from there, I'll drop the link down below, and you can check it out if you want to. It's not exactly safe for work, so headphones or catch it in your car or something. I wanted to talk, I really need to script and plan these things out. I wanted to talk about mental health and suicide and related things like that. I've got a friend a week or so back, checked out. He was terminal. He told people beforehand that if diagnosis ended up being terminal, he was going to check out because he, didn't want to go that way, and I can respect that decision. I've had my own issues before, and but yeah. Anyway, I'm just not ready to go into what I thought I was going to be able to talk about today. I'm not in a bad place. I'm doing good. I'm working on self-care. Working on a capsule wardrobe, skincare regimen, trying to find my spark for stuff. I'm not going Hollywood. I don't have a stylist or anything like that. I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row, or at least on the same planet, I guess. But yeah, but I really need to plan these out. Maybe not exactly script, but some cliff notes or something to go off. So instead of talking about what I had planned to, I think I'm going to go and talk about working with your heroes or your idols, mentors. I don't know what the right word is. I think it depends on where you're at in your relationship with them. When I was 15, 16, into junior high, right before high school or into high school, there's middle school and junior. I don't know how it is now, but 7th and 8th grade was junior high when I was growing up. And over the summers, this is when we lived in San Antonio, sometimes during the summer, sometimes during breaks, my mom would sign my life away. I think it was like a power of attorney thing or something, but I would go on regional tours with bands. Sometimes it was bands, sometimes it was theater groups. I think there was a dance troupe once. And the power of attorney, I think it was called, that was more just in case like the equipment bus rolled and I had to get medical help. She wasn't sending me off with the circus or anything, although that kind of would have been fun probably. But that was just more of a legal thing that, hey, if shit happens, this person is in charge of deciding to pull the plug or not. But I met a lot of people that I idolized, and learned real quick that we're all humans. Some quirkier than others. My mom and myself included. Creative people don't always fire on all cylinders. Look at things different, do things different, and can be flaky. That's a huge flaw of mine. I do try, but yeah, sometimes the brain pan dripping a bit more oil than it should be, I guess. But anyway, so I got to meet a lot of people that I had immense respect for pretty young, and it didn't always work out great because it was just like, damn, on screen or stage they looked like this, but in reality they were just as fucked as everybody else. And that's okay. I mean, we're all human. Some have talents and skills in their chosen art or their chosen passion, and others are trying to find theirs, and it's all good. So working with idols and people that I respected didn't always work out good. That came back later in life when I was in Japan working with Udo and bands and such, where I'd meet somebody that I just, had been watching on MTV since they launched, and I meet them and I'm just like, wow. They put their pants on one leg at a time just like everybody else, but up on stage it's like, switch flips and their Rockstar, Superstar, Nova, whatever. But like I said, everybody has that in them, somehow, some spark or something. I just lost, the train went right off the tracks. Two people I worked with recently, one was not so recent, but Jack, he was a Navy SEAL back in the Korean War and into the Vietnam War, and he did not fuck around. He was a good guy. He'd laugh and joke and everything, but we'd have a brief and he'd be like, here's the mission, here's the situation, here's what we're going to do. Didn't really care how it got done as long as base legal didn't get involved or the cops showed up. But the objective's this: get it done. Need help, reach out. Don't let me down. And if you let him down, be prepared for a public stoning, because he did not hold back. If you messed up and you let the team down, public stoning, I mean, right then and there. And man, I got my ass handed to me a few times. And we had talks afterwards, and because I would get indignant and pissy, and he, he kind of trumped me. A lot more higher up the food chain, I guess. But I'd still thump my chest, and Silverback Gorilla kicked my ass every time. But he was an amazing man. He had a hell of a lot of stories, and we got into a lot of trouble. Had a lot of fun at the same time. But I miss working with him. And yeah, he was very focused on what the goals or the mission was, the objectives, etc., and just get it done. There was no micromanagement. He'd give you hints and tips and suggestions, but he never told you, I want you to do A, B, C to get to D. Just get there. And I really miss working with him. He passed away, hell, when I knew him, I think he was in his late 60s, early 70s, and he's been gone for a while now. More recently, and he passed away also, but Michael trained me for what I do now, which is paratransit, if you don't know. And he's been gone since December. I'd have to go back and check dates, some shit with dates. The cool thing with Michael, he was a Marine, very focused on what we were doing and how we were going to do it. He had more knowledge and information about things than he should have. He was just very set on how to do things. First day he trained me, he asked me, how would we get, this is at the end of the day, okay, these were the good points, these are the bad points of the day. How would we get from point A to point B, this person's house to that facility? And I was like, oh, you go down the street until you get to that old mom and pop convenience store, and then you go to the right where that old school's at that's not used anymore, and a couple houses down from there, there's like a tree that fell over. You turn there, you go down, and there's a house where the bricks on one side are a little bit off color. Maybe they did some remodeling or something, and you know from that point it's two more houses down. The whole time he's just staring at me and just, in disbelief, shaking his head. I don't know which way. And I get done, and he's like, streets have fucking names, Dave. What are the street names where you turn at? And I'm like, I don't know, but visually I know that was the right way to go. And it's something about your mama thought you were special, didn't she? And then earlier in the day, that same day getting trained, we have this little lady. She has cerebral palsy and MS, and 4 foot tall maybe if she stands up straight, uses a walker. And she was loading into the vehicle and having a hell of a time. And Michael was on one side of the vehicle. I was on the side helping her. He was, watching me do, make sure everything went well. And I'm like, hey, what can I do to help you? Can I pick you up? I mean, what can I do? And she's like, yeah. So as soon as I said that, Michael's eyes got huge, and he's like mouthing, no. And I saw him, but I also ignored him. And so I lean over and I pick her up. I put her in the vehicle, get her seatbelt secured, throw her walker in the back, secure that, jump in the back. Michael is just looking in the rearview mirror, kind of staring at me. Not angry, but, you know, I can see that look in his eyes. It's like your mom's look in her eyes like, we're going to have a talk. So we get to where we're dropping her at. She gets unloaded, and Michael's like, dude, don't pick the passengers up. In more ways than one. Came out later, but yeah. But he was also, I mean, he was very strict on things. But also during the day, we'd have a before work and an after work debrief, I guess, or pre-brief, depending on what time of day it was. And that was awesome because it was like, hey, here's the things that went well, here's the things that didn't go well, let's work on this tomorrow, that tomorrow, whatever. And it was just awesome to do that. Frog in my throat. He was also a very generous person. One day he had called up and said, hey, my wife and I want to go watch a concert. Also want to have some adult beverages, some wheat juice and such. Can you give me a ride there? Yeah, no problem. Well, I didn't realize at the time, but I'd also set a date with my daughter to go out and do some stuff, and it was the same day. And so I texted him, called him back later and said, hey, I have no problem getting you there and getting you back. However, I've got plans with my daughter that day. Is it okay if she's with me when I pick you and your wife up? I drop you guys off. We're going to go hang out close to that same area, and then when you're done, we'll pick you up and get you home. No problem at all. Picked him and his wife up, chatting on the way, talking, laughing. They're talking to my daughter. She's, you know, talking back with them, stuff like that. Not talking back bad, but, you know, just conversation. And we get there, and he hands me money. And I'm like, I'm not taking your money. This is just a friend helping a friend, a coworker helping a coworker, whatever. And he's like, no, go ahead and take it. You guys have fun. And so I handed it to Maya, and I started driving off. And she's going through it, and she's like, Papa, this is like $200 or $300. And I'm like, no. He probably took the money out of the wrong pocket or something. And, you know, he wanted to give us 20, but he gave us his spending money for the night. So I pulled over. I texted him a few times. He ignored it. I called a few times. He ignored it. Finally, he answered, and I'm like, dude, I think you gave us the wrong amount of money because that's a wad. And he goes, no. You and your daughter go have fun. And there was no more discussion. But I really miss working with him. This is a very solitary job. It's awesome when I'm with customers, and then as soon as they're out of the vehicle or whatever, I get back into my headspace sometimes, which is not always good, but it is, I got a little unicorn horn going there. Anyway. So I would like to hear from you guys. You don't have to drop names, but idols that you've worked with, mentors that you've worked with, people you worked with that kind of pushed you, made you better people at whatever it is you do, or just, hell, even just funny work stories. I've got a ton of them I've typed up and written and all that. But anyhow, love to hear from you guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm blessed that anybody's watching this besides my kids, and I don't think they even watch it anymore, especially after last week. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Have fun. One more day till the weekend. If you get weekends off, get out there, get you some. You got people you love and care about. Hug them, let them know. Be kind to each other. Help each other out. Love one another. All that stuff. Just be good people. Don't be dicks. I love you. We'll talk to you later. Bye.